Hi, I'm Franky Athill, and at the moment I am advising e-commerce startups on growth, attribution, and finding the right agencies. I started my career in advertising agencies, marketing agencies. I worked in 6 different agencies before jumping into a startup, which failed miserably, and then a startup called Patch, which worked out okay. I was there for 4.5 years. I then did 6 months interim chief growth officer at Chef, and 6 months as chief marketing officer in Finisterre. So a whole host of different e-commerce startups across apparel, plants, and food. A secret about myself that not many people know is that I was on the UK's least popular dating show about 10 years ago. So my path to becoming a CMO was quite by design. I think there were a couple of things that I did that helped me achieve this goal. One of those things was working in as many broad agencies as possible, different marketing agencies as possible. It was a really good way to start my career because I could get a feel for all the different parts of the marketing toolbox and be trained up quite quickly by the agencies I worked in. I then made a move to be the digital person inside an agency. This was good timing, but I think it's a principle that all young marketers can apply. There's always an opportunity to be like that young guy in whichever business you're in who just kind of knows, or girl obviously, who just knows about the latest tech trends that relate to marketing. So right now you'd be the TikTok person, right? Most people over the age of 30 are insecure about the fact they have no idea about TikTok, but it's blowing up, right? So make yourself the TikTok expert. At the time for me, that was Instagram. I became the Instagram expert within a creative agency and use that as a way to get some responsibility, but relatively early in my career. Then I made the jump to small companies. So that's another principle I think young marketers can apply to on their path towards a CMO. So I joined pretty much the only startup that would take me in the head of marketing role. So I could have some budget to play with. I could have the autonomy to, build a marketing plan, get my hands dirty, but be in charge of the marketing. But to do that, I had to trade off and work in a really small and quite risky early stage company. And it didn't work out. After a year, the company folded, but it was still a really, really great experience. It was definitely the fastest way I could learn and step up to running the show, although a very small one, rather than being kind of stuck in a more junior role in a bigger company. And then using that experience to just stay in smaller, earlier stage companies. You're going to get more responsibility, and if you make the most of that responsibility, then you can get lots of experience quickly. So that was my path at Patch. Started joining as a marketing lead and then becoming head of marketing growth and brand and marketing director. The big things I spend time doing are hiring people, help coaching the team. Then I could spend an hour reviewing some creative work, giving my feedback on the latest advertising campaign or landing page. And then I'd flip to doing an hour on budgeting or reporting on a test or supporting someone on the team to get into the data on something that we've been working on. So really in an 8-hour day, we can jump between people, analytics and creative work. And then, as part of the leadership team on these in these companies, you're also just trying to help build the culture of the business and help guide the biggest decisions across the business, which is also a really fun part of being a CMO in a startup. When I was at Patch, I was head of marketing at the time, and I'd been there a few years, so the brand felt like my baby in a way, and I put in a lot of really hard work for a couple of years to get through the kind of riskiest stages of the business. And we were looking to raise some more money and scale the business faster. And frankly, I wasn't doing a very good job managing the team that I built. It was my first time managing a small team of about 10 at the time, and I was struggling. And the CEO saw this, and I think he decided to hire a CMO in above me. So I got layered is one way of putting it. And it was tough to take because I wanted that role. I wanted to keep responsibility for the marketing function and keep enjoying the autonomy that I'd had. And he said something to me that was very insightful at the time. He said that you're going to get where you'd like to get much faster working alongside this experienced CMO for a year than trying to take on the challenge on your own. And he was completely right. So it was challenging at the time because I was worried that I would lose control, that my work would be undone by a new boss, that I had to work into a new boss and I wouldn't be good at that. But ultimately, he put a lot of work and was good at fitting into the team and maintaining the parts of my role that I enjoyed the most, while identifying like there was quite a lot on the management side that I could learn from him and we could achieve a lot more together. And having him on the team was going to be much easier to raise the investment than without him. So I'm really glad in hindsight that happened. And ultimately he stayed for a year with the business. I learned a lot from him. He stayed on as an advisor and I stepped up to his role on the leadership team after just 12 months. So that's a really big lesson, and I think it's quite common in startups, especially for the first marketing in a startup. It's unlikely, like people say quite rightly, that the team that you have for the first seed stage is unlikely to be the team that you need for the Series A, Series B stages, because most of the team haven't managed other people before, they haven't seen these challenges hands-on, and so it's quite a common situation to be layered at like a Series A stage for the early marketing team, probably across lots of different functions. And my advice would be, make the most to build a relationship, welcome it, learn what you can, download everything from this experienced person coming in, and just remember that like, if it doesn't work out, you can take that experience elsewhere, and if it does work out, you'll get where you need to get, or you want to get much faster working with them than they're putting up some defensive barrier. I think that the skills you need to be a good CMO is a balance of right brain and left brain thinking. So you need to be good at creative sensibilities when it comes to brand building, storytelling, copywriting, getting a good feel for a brand and a customer, so that you can build that instinct of, is this on brand or off brand? Is this going to help build the brand, or is this going to erode the brand, this piece of copy or this creative work? On the flip side, you need to be good at analytical side of marketing. You need to understand numbers. You need to not be scared of a spreadsheet. You need to really embrace data informed thinking wherever possible and be excited by that, not shy away from it. And those two things quite often aren't found naturally in people. They're like quite often opposing strengths, and people quite early on through the school system focus on one side of the coin there. So I'd say train up on both from an early stage, and make sure you're applying both as much as you can, rather than being pigeonholed into one part of the marketing mix. I'd also say, understanding and working well with the CEO. That's the key person you need to work well with in the business. Understanding how they work, like how do they want the business to be run? What do they expect from you? Invest a lot in that relationship. I think that's something that's easy to miss because your head is so in the work. When you're the Chief Marketing Officer, you're going to have to be prepared for all of your work to be assessed by the rest of the business. Everybody's going to see it, and everyone's going to have an opinion. And unlike the people in the operations team or in the product team, there's going to be quite few right-wrong answers. Like, you can't prove your position very often at all. It's going to be quite subjective, and that means you're going to have to be prepared to calmly listen, succinctly argue, make a case and make a call for your plan of action. It's not going to be as easy as other teams that can follow things step by step and show the data to prove that they're making the right decisions along the way. And so that does take confidence building, and it takes negotiation skills, it takes communication skills. Those are the things that really take experience. But the best thing you can do to learn them is put yourself in the firing line as much as possible. I worked for like a very, very challenging boss in the past who's a famous photographer. Working for him was the best training because I had to stay calm under pressure. So as much as you can do to kind of train being calm under pressure, I think that's going to be a really useful soft skill.